A modern Foundry sand preparation system must meet two fundamental requirements. It must produce quality sand, and it must continue to deliver this quality over time. Beloy and Romagnoli systems guarantee the supply of quality sand with the right compactability and green strength with a temperature level below 45 degrees, which is permeable and constant over time. Now let's see how. Beloy and Romagnoli has designed the sand and casting cooling drum to enable modern foundries to cool the sand and the casting simultaneously, to aid cleaning and to allow for use of an extraction system to monitor the quantity of fines. A vibrating conveyor carries the molds from the knockout system to the drum. Cooling is achieved by evaporating the residual moisture from the return sand and also the water added as required by a system that consists of two parts, one in the loading and one in the exit zones. An extraction and filtration system removes the steam and fines generated by this process. By rolling the castings and sand around inside it, the drum not only cleans and empties castings from cores, but also mixes the return sand to a uniform consistency, cutting milling times. At the end of the process, the sand and the clean cooled castings move on to a screening sector where they're separated. The key factor in obtaining these results is the automatic control of the water in the drum. There are two sets of nozzles, one at the front and one at the back, modulated in response to monitoring of the drum intake and exit temperatures. This system ensures that no more water is added than is strictly necessary, guaranteeing that the sand will have the correct temperature and moisture levels. Cooling of the sand downstream of the knockout is very important to prevent all the problems caused by excessively high temperatures, such as difficulties activating the bentonite, poor control of the compactability of the sand prepared, higher water demand, and so on. The aim is to supply sand with a temperature below 45 degrees centigrade, and, equally important, to make it as uniform as possible in consistency. The sand is kept constantly turned over by the mixing tools, and at the same time, air is piped in to fluidize it and increase the sand-air heat exchange surface area. The cycle starts with the addition of water to cool and wet the sand, after which the hopper is opened to deliver the spent sand. The extraction system constantly draws off the steam formed when the water hits the hot sand. This steam is then filtered to comply with all legal requirements. The mixer is rightly considered the heart of the Foundry sand system. It's the most important machine, where the moulding sand is restored to the ideal conditions. The model designed by Beloy and Romagnoli assures constant quality, high output, reliability, and low maintenance requirements. Our mixers feature an efficient mixing unit comprising 2 or 3 rotary units, each turning on its own axis, which cover the entire surface of the ceramic-lined tank. An innovative hydraulic drive unit supplies the energy to power movement of the entire rotary assembly. The water is fed in as quickly as possible so that it spends the longest possible time in contact with the bentonite for more effective activation. Once the return sand has been added, the additives follow. A properly wet sand retains and incorporates them more effectively to optimize bentonite activation. By minimizing the time taken to add the various ingredients, we extend the time available for mixing, the real active phase in the cycle which takes place in 2 separate parts. Pre-mixing. The tank contains the washing water and the return sand. The sand is wet to prepare it for the addition of the other additives. Intensive mixing is the phase when all the ingredients are together in the tank and react to give the sand the required chemical, physical, and mechanical characteristics. This takes from 80 to 90 seconds. The quality of the mixing cycle is achieved through the combination of the intensive mixing action and the GSC automatic sand control system, which controls operation of the mixer and the feeding of water and additives to produce quality sand that remains constant over time. An automatic laboratory measures the physical properties of the samples of sand taken at the mixer outlet for each mixing cycle, checking compactability, green strength, and moisture content. This enables the GSC program to regulate the amounts of water and additive added to obtain the compactability and green strength the operator requires. Fewer reject castings due to problems with sand, fewer broken molds, better casting skin quality. These are the benefits of the Beloy and Romagnoli sand preparation cycle control system, which guarantees the delivery of high-quality, compactable, cohesive, permeable sand with constant characteristics over time. The Beloy and Romagnoli BRAP6 multipress molding machine is a machine that produces Greensand molds by means of a high-pressure process with multiple pistons operating at different pressures. The preloading hopper, installed about 2 meters above the pattern, pre-compacts the sand significantly through the effect of gravity, giving a more uniform layer around the pattern. The Beloy and Romagnoli multiple pistons head molding system is designed to obtain constant hardness levels on all the mold's horizontal and vertical surfaces and around its edge. The pistons are operated by 2 separate hydraulic circuits, allowing 2 different pressures to be set. When the pressing cylinder brings the sand into contact with the molding heads, the degree of compression of the sand under each individual head depends on sand height, sand compactability, and the pressure applied. When the sand is compacted to a degree which allows it to withstand the pressure applied by the head, the piston starts to retract. The difference in sand response around the sides of the mold is compensated by varying the pressure values of the internal pistons and supplying the ones around the perimeter with specific pressures. Once all the heads have been activated and have reached their final positions, the compression cylinder continues its stroke to ensure that the mold hardness and sand cohesion are as uniform as possible. In the final compacting phase, the multi-press presses the mold from above and or below thanks to the combined action of the 2 hydraulic control circuits. Naturally, the settings for this phase can be modified to obtain the hardness required. Production of castings with high dimensional precision, castings with excellent surface finishes and constant weight with no defects. This is what Beloy and Romagnoli molding lines can be counted on to do, with low operating costs and outstanding production quality.